gonna get very personal, it's gonna get really deep, it's gonna get emotional. I'm just warning you guys. Hi guys, so on this vlog today, I am gonna get really deep with you guys and I'm actually gonna say my testimony. A couple weeks ago, my sister asked me to say my testimony to a group of high school girls that I guess are seniors and juniors, and I asked her why, and she basically said that a lot of girls struggle with exactly what I struggled with in high school and my early years of college. So if this just reaches one person, then I'm completely okay with it. So some of you are probably saying, what the heck is a testimony? So a testimony is basically a story of, not your life, but a story of how you ended up the way you ended up. So for me, personally, I am religious, I am a Christian, and a lot of people, when they're religious, they say their testimony and how God brought them to where they are today. So I'm gonna start. It's gonna get very personal, it's gonna get really deep, it's gonna get emotional. I'm just warning you guys. So a little bit about me. If you guys forget, my name's Kendall. Me and my husband do vlogs. We haven't done them in a while. We've both been busy, you know, life happens. But basically, I'm gonna start my story and I hope you guys get something out of it and I hope you guys really just understand where I'm coming from. You know, I was debating on doing this. You know, I talked to my friends, my husband, my sister, my family, and I told her the one thing that I was really scared about. I was like, I hope I do not get judged for, you know, the mistakes I've made, the problems I've had in my life, through rough patches where I didn't know myself, I didn't know how to deal with certain situations. This is kind of me being open with you guys. I'm gonna start kind of late middle school. I went to a private school and I was bullied really, really bad. This was in like 4th, 5th, and like 6th. You know, I think everyone during that time, it's a very awkward time. You don't know who you are. You're young still. And at that time in my life, I was very bullied. I was picked on for pretty much everything I did. It led me to switch schools in 6th grade, which was a weird time to switch schools anyway because everyone kind of already has their group of friends and everything like that. So that was really weird for me. I then went to a public school, and I loved it there. I really did. Middle school, I really didn't have any like problems in my life. I would say, you know, I came from a good family. I had great siblings. You know, I had great friends in my life and everything. And then high school happened. Freshman year, a guy actually broke up with me because I wouldn't have sex with him, which, you know, was hurtful because basically that kind of, to me, that kind of felt like, okay, all that women are good for is their bodies. I also feel like in high school there is a ton of girls that think when they're dating a guy, they need to like prove themselves to the guy. They need to, you know, do things with them and stuff like that. And news check, you do not need to do anything that you do not feel comfortable doing. You're so young. Girls in high school are 16 through 18. You literally have your whole life ahead of you. Do not be stupid because today you are saturated with sexual things constantly popping up, and you know, it's like people think it's completely normal nowadays, and it's not. I went through a bunch of different stages in high school of me being, you know, portrayed as the prude, or then the whore, and then the, you know, the weirdo. You know, there's just so many words that people say to you, and it really cut deep at one point in my life. And you know, I struggled with a lot of self-image issues. I struggled with eating disorders in high school. And because of the way I thought people were viewing me, you know, that is not the way that you need to be. You know what I mean? You do not need to be a size 00 to look pretty. That's just not, that's not it at all. So a little fast forward, my senior year of high school, I, you know, was living life. I was like, oh my gosh, it's my last year. I was looking at colleges. I was, you know, just being happy. And then something happened that completely changed my life forever. I found out that my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. I pushed away everyone in my life, got into a bad group of people. When you're 17 and 18, you don't know how to cope with that type of stuff. Or at least I didn't. I don't know about anyone else, but I didn't know what to expect. My grandma passed away of cancer, so I saw how much she struggled with that. And to think that my mom was going to struggle that way, it was just, it was so hard to think that my mom won't be there for my wedding. My mom won't see me graduate from college, graduate from high school, like it was just that feeling that I didn't know if she was going to be there for my life. I didn't know if she was going to be there to see my kids one day. The cancer that she had, it affected her speech. So it was really hard for her to get words out and stuff like that. I remember vividly when she got the surgery to remove the tumor. Me and my family were obviously all at the hospital waiting for her to be out. She was in the ICU and we went in, to say hi. She was up, she was, moving and stuff. We all went in and I vividly remember her not recognizing me and my family. And that was just so hard, As a 17, 18-year-old girl, you want to talk to your mom constantly all the time about everything, you know what I mean? I was going off to college 4.5 hours away, and I didn't have my mom to talk to, you know what I mean? She could barely move me into my dorm room my freshman year. And, it was so hard because when I called her when I was at school, she couldn't really talk to me, and stuff like that. And that was so hard to cope with. And so many people say, like, my mom has cancer, my dad has cancer, or, I'm dealing with this, and how did you deal with it? I, for a while, including when I went off to school, my senior year, summer and into my freshman year, I did not cope with it the right way. I started partying. I just started doing all the bad things. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn to. I was surrounded by a Christian school, of people talking about God's a healer and blah, blah, blah. I didn't believe it. I looked at my mom and saw how amazing she was. And I said, why to her? You know what I mean? Why would he make someone who's so awesome sick like this? So I lashed out, If I could literally talk to every single person that is dealing with their mom being sick or their dad being sick or your grandparents or your sister or brother or something, I literally would just tell you to pray. You know what I mean? I didn't get on my knees and pray enough to God when I was going through this. I thought that I had to deal with it myself, and I thought that I had to heal myself and to heal my heart and everything that I was going through. But that's not how it has to be. And I didn't know what to do. So how this stage ended is the next part. So I went to school for my sophomore year. I still had the same group of friends as I did my freshman year, but it was different. I came back my sophomore year. My mom was on a trial at Duke University. She was getting better. She was still struggling. I mean, it's cancer. You don't just wake up one day and it goes away. So, I still had to deal with it. But at this point, I prayed more. I was listening to a sermon at my own church that I went to. And he was talking about how God is a great healer. And I have heard sermons like this, I'm talking 1,000,000 times. But this one, God just really opened up my eyes. I started working at a nonprofit organization and for kids that are, on the streets and stuff like that. And, it just kind of opened my eyes to how blessed I am. Even though my mom is sick still, I've learned that everything happens for a reason. So fast forward to my sophomore year, I made better friends. I relied on God a lot more. I was still struggling with the whole thought of like, you know, why hasn't God brought me a guy in my life? So I was talking to my sister and I was like, hey, how do I pray to God, asking him to basically bring me a nice, Christian, sweet, amazing guy in my life? I was very single at this point in my life, and my sister was like, I have a great idea. And I was like, okay, let me hear it. So she told me to go out and buy a tie. So I went, and I was like, okay, you weirdo. So I went out, bought it, like, my favorite baby blue tie, and I brought it home, and I was like, okay, why did I buy this? And she said, every single night before you go to bed, and even when you wake up, pray over this tie and ask God to bring a guy in your life that you can give this tie to that you will marry. And I was just like, okay, I'll do it. Probably 6 or 7 months later, I met Jamie. For it every single night. I brought it home for summer. I prayed over it. And then probably in October, I met my now husband. He has no idea how much he honestly saved me, and honestly he mended my heart from so many broken relationships and broken hearts before. Him and I were best friends for 9 months because I was like, God, I need to calm down. I need to not jump into anything because who knows if this is the guy even for me. He proved himself to me so quickly. I just wanted to start dating him right away. But God told me, just wait, be friends with this guy. Then him and I were friends for about 9 months. After that, we dated for probably like 4 or 5 months. We got engaged right away. We then got married in June. He helped me trust again. He helped me love. You know what I mean? He really showed me what true love really was. And I thought I knew before what love was before him, but honestly, I had no idea whatsoever. And, you know, I've told him this a million times, so he knows, but I just adore him so much. I'm literally the luckiest girl in the whole entire world. My life has changed so much over the course of 2 years. It is insane how God works. I'm telling you, I could not have done anything that I've done without him. And I know that sounds really dramatic, that people that aren't religious are just like, okay, girlfriend, like, you're weird. But I'm so serious. You know, if I could give any advice to girls in high school or in college, kind of trying to find themselves, dealing with side things and dealing with just life in general, because life is literally so hard, I would give you the advice to save yourself for your husband. Wait for a guy that literally is worth your time. I feel like so many girls today settle. I settled before Jamie, completely 100% settled. Don't do that, girls. And even guys, don't settle for a girl that doesn't treat you right. Everyone has their Prince Charming and princess out there. And I think that a lot of people don't believe that they are worthy of someone who actually treats them well. And for a while, I thought that too. But everyone deserves to be happy, and everyone deserves to find someone that they just like click with. I don't even know how to describe it. They just click and they just feel comfortable around them. Everyone deserves that. Your relationship shouldn't be a fight every day. Your relationship shouldn't be arguments and just stuff like that. It shouldn't be like that. And you know what? You deserve to feel loved, and you also deserve to just be happy. You know what I mean? I feel like our world is so unhappy today that it's like weird for us to be like, oh, am I being too happy right now? Like, is something gonna happen? Thank you for the girls and guys that have tuned in to listen to my testimony. Please message me if you do have any questions about anything. Message me if you just want me to pray for you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Kisses.